Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining Click LCA's live product release. We are so glad to have you here, and we're very excited to have you connect with all of us today. We have an exciting program that's coming up. So, as you all know, by 2026, rules like EPBD, CPR, and also CBAM will increasingly make carbon disclosure mandatory for permits and market access. Additionally, certifications like LEED v5, BREEAM v7, and RICS v2 are raising the bar. And Click LCA's AI-powered platform will help you meet these requirements at scale, fast, accurately, and verifiably. So let's get started. Today, we are joined by Joachim Decker, who is our Vice President of Sales. My name is Abigail Mella. I lead Global Sustainability Communications here. We are also joined by Alfred Garum, our Chief Product Officer at Click LCA. Today, we'll open this event with a closer look at how regulation is reshaping sustainability and how Click LCA is enabling compliance at scale. I will now turn things over to you, Joachim.
Good afternoon, morning, or evening, depending on where you are in the world. I'm Joachim, VP of Business Development at Click LCA. Very happy to be here with you to share our updated and enhanced portfolio. So thank you for tuning in to this announcement call. So let's get started, shall we? First of all, by 2026, the EU will require carbon and disclosures under CBAM for imports and EPBD for new buildings. Secondly, the Construction Products Regulation, or CPR, will soon follow, making verified product level data mandatory. At the same time, LEED v5, BREEAM v7, and RICS v2, as Abigail mentioned, are tightening embodied carbon standards globally. So the message to the industry is very clear. Without verified carbon data, projects and product risk being locked out of the market. So Click LCA offers a complete range of solutions to help you achieve and maintain compliance across every stage of your sustainability and reporting journey. Click LCA is the world's largest lifecycle assessment platform, delivering impact, compliance, and growth in more than 170 countries. So our platform includes the most comprehensive global LCA database with over 500,000 datasets. And we are now serving customers across manufacturing, construction, infrastructure, chemicals, and manufacturing supply chains, among others. Click LCA is committed to powering 1 million makers of a zero carbon future by 2035 for an impact at planetary scale. So now, to show how our software turns compliance into an opportunity, I'll hand it over to our Chief Product Officer, Alfred. So over to you.
Thank you very much, Joachim. And hi, everybody. And thank you very much for joining. It's wonderful to see so many of you on here. When we speak about life cycle assessment, we often start from compliance, meeting regulations, reporting requirements. It's kind of checking the boxes. But when I think about it, the real opportunity begins when we move beyond compliance, when we turn data into strategy and that strategy into impact. And that is what really today is about. It's about having those tools for every stage of your LCA workflow. Whether you're starting or scaling sustainability across your organization, you really need a solution that grows with you, that helps you and kind of connects those dots between reporting and real decision making. So at Click LCA, we built a platform to do just that, to make LCA not just a compliance exercise, but to be a strategic advantage. We don't want sustainability kind of to slow down It should really power the progress in the company to do these things. What we also want is, we really want the software to help you to have success and to have personal success also. So we want our software to be of personal significance in your everyday work. We know it's a competitive market out there, and we want you to really have tools that you love to work with. So what we always think of is, we work for our software to be powerful at the right time and very simple at the right place. And that means that very much of your success that you have with our software, that is our reward. That is what we think of in the product teams of Click LCA. With that, Abigail, the stage is yours.
Thank you very much, Alfred, and it's wonderful that you're with us. And I know that we're all very proud to be part of this community, and we're all also proud to leverage these solutions to drive change across the industry. Now we're going to shift focus, and we're going to look at the manufacturing sector specifically. And we're going to explore what compliance means for manufacturers today and tomorrow. So Click LCA's tools are helping you meet new requirements efficiently and at scale, and we're going to talk about that. So to guide us through this session, I'm very pleased to introduce Tuomas Jeskelainen. He is an in-house lifecycle assessment and environmental product declaration expert. We're also joined by Johanna Parisi, who is our product owner for our manufacturing solutions, as well as Atuls Alsons, who is our senior product manager at Click LCA. And together, they're going to show you how manufacturers can align with new frameworks like CPR or CBAM, and also how automation is making compliance faster and more reliable and easier to scale for you. With that, I turn things over to you, Tuomas.
Thanks a lot, Abigail. Nice to be here. So I'm Tuomas, live from Helsinki, and today I will give you a very quick overview of two very important things on European level, so the CPR and construction product regulation. So without further ado, we go to CPR. So under the new construction product regulation, every manufacturer selling in EU will soon face a new compliance application, and they're approaching fast. There are basically 5 different things that every manufacturer should be aware of. First, each product will need a digital product passport containing both technical and environmental data. Second, the familiar CE marking will expand to confirm environmental as well as technical performance. Third, environmental reporting becomes mandatory, beginning with CO2 emissions and energy use and expanding to more indicators from 2026 onward. Fourth, declaration of performance will progressively include full life cycle indicators such as global warming potential. And finally, and perhaps most importantly, CPR will harmonize EU standards, replacing all the fragmented national rules, meaning that once you comply, you can access the entire European market. Manufacturers who digitize their product data now will be ready, and those who wait may face very difficult times with these topics in the future. Then, the Carbon Border Adjustment Mechanism, or CBAM. It's the new EU carbon tariff on imported goods with high carbon footprint. Its goal is to prevent carbon leakage and ensure fair competition between European and non-European producers. Importers must buy CBAM certificates that match the amount of CO2 embedded in their product. The principle is fairly simple. The higher the emission, the higher the cost. CBAM currently applies to cement, iron, steel, aluminium, fertilizer, electricity, and hydrogen, with more sectors likely to follow. In effect, CBAM levels the playing in the field, but also sends a very clear message. Every manufacturer inside and outside Europe will soon need verified carbon data to stay competitive. And even if you don't export Europe today, now is the right time to start measuring and verifying your product emissions before the cost starts adding up. Together, CPR and CBAM mark a turning point for manufacturers. Compliance is not just no longer optional, it is foundation for the market access. Digitalization, verified data, and scalable reporting will define who stays competitive in this new landscape. To show you how One-Click LCA software makes this all possible in practice, so automating data, verification, and reporting, I'll now hand over to Johanna, who together with Arthurs will walk you through the tools that help manufacturers comply with this new regulation in detail. Over to you, Johanna.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Johanna, product owner at One-Click LCA, and today I'll show you our latest updates for manufacturers. We know compliance is evolving. It's no longer just about EPDs, but about managing data, ensuring reliability, and integrating with design workflows. Our new features make that easier from early data collection to verification, publication, and portfolio level reporting, helping you to work faster, improving accuracy, and scaling with confidence. Let's take a look at what's new. Let's start by removing friction. Creating EPDs often involves navigating complex tools and searching through a very long list of datasets. So to address this, we've redesigned the entire user interface to make it faster and more intuitive. Navigation flows are streamlined, so you can move between steps with fewer clicks. Searches are now smarter and context-aware, helping you find exactly what you need without the guesswork, and filters adapt based on the product or the data you're working with. So all of this together results in a much smoother experience when adding datasets or creating EPDs from scratch. For manufacturers managing large or diverse product portfolios, these efficiency gains are immediate. You can onboard new products faster, maintain existing ones more easily, and scale compliance efforts without increasing headcounts or workload. In short, the platform now works at the speed of your business. Once the interface makes navigation easier, the next big step is speeding up data entry. Importing data from Excel or Beam file can mean working with thousands of rows, inconsistent labels, typos, or even multiple languages. And mapping all of that manually can be very time-consuming. Our new AI-driven import process solves this by automatically recognizing synonyms, correcting misspellings, and understanding different languages during the mapping process. It intelligently links your input with the correct dataset without needing the manual intervention. So for large-scale imports, this reduces the manual import by up to 70%. This is especially important when you are scaling EPD creation across global portfolios or working with different regional teams, for example. With AI doing the heavy lifting, you can handle higher volumes, maintain consistency, and move from raw data to ready-to-use EPD models much faster. However, scaling only creates value if the outputs are accurate and trusted. That's why we introduced the EPD Quality Checker, which acts as automated pre-verification before you submit anything. It reviews your data, identifies gaps or anomalies, and flags potential issues early on. It also benchmarks your results against thousands of published EPDs to provide realistic ranges. This gives you an immediate feedback on whether your data looks credible and compliant. By catching issues before submission, you avoid costly back and forth with verifiers and lower overall verification costs. It also ensures that what reaches the market is consistent and high quality, while still moving quickly. Ultimately, the quality checker builds trust and confidence in your EPDs, which is essential for market acceptance and long-term reputation. So now that we have EPDs that are verified and compliant, they can deliver value beyond just documentation. The manufacturer commercial pack turns your EPD into growth assets. Instead of your environmental data sitting in a database, your products are showcased on a branded manufacturing page within Click LCA, the platform used by the largest community of architects, engineers, and specifiers. This connects your verified data directly with the people making designs and procurement decisions. It increases visibility, protects your specification from being substituted, and position your product at the point of decision. It also enables lead capture so you can identify interest early in the design process. In short, it bridges the gap between compliance and commercial impact. So your investment in EPDs doesn't just meet regulation, it helps you stand out, win projects, and stay embedded in design workflows. But for many manufacturers, especially those offering complex systems or assemblies, scaling compliance requires more than product-by-product tools. It requires dedicated industry-specific workflows. That's why we've developed end-to-end tools that automate system-level EPD creation aligned with EN 15804, ISO 21930, and PEPICO Passport. These tools support the full process from data input to publishing, ensuring that even complex configurations are handled consistently. They reduce the manual work, minimize the errors, and ensure that system-level results are formatted correctly for verification and submission. This is particularly important in a regulated EU market where system-level EPDs are required for eligibility in tenders and certifications. This is a major step toward making compliance scalable even in highly technical product categories. Now, if we look ahead, we are now focusing on our next major bottleneck, which is data collection. Finding the right data sets can be time-consuming, especially when you're unsure which option matches best your product, standard, or market. So our upcoming data recommendation service uses AI to analyze your initial inputs and suggest targeted data sets. It prioritizes the most relevant and compliant options, helping you to make the right decision the first time. By reducing the guesswork and manual searching, it significantly cuts the time spent gathering data. It also shortens the EPD creation cycle and reduces the number of revisions required during verification. So this is the next evolution in scaling EPD creation, moving from manual selection to intelligent guided workflows that speed up every project. So together, these tools make compliance scalable and auditable while unlocking visibility, specifications, and sales. So manufacturers can turn regulatory obligation into competitive advantage, protecting today's revenue and positioning for tomorrow's growth. Now over to our senior product manager for a live product demo.
Hi, everyone. I'm Arturs, and I'm going to demo you a few of the new features in our platform. So let's jump straight into the demo. Here we can see one of my projects with few designs already there. I'll click on Input Data to see the input data forms. Here, let's navigate to Product Description to open the new input data user interface. Here on the left-hand side, you can see the different sections available in this input form, as well as all the other input forms available in this tool. From the top, you can quickly navigate between different tools and different design options, handy if you're working with a lot of designs. On the right side, you see the typical navigation buttons. The help texts are collapsed by default, and you can open them from the little arrow icon. Let's enter some sample data here. If I'm happy with this section, from the left-hand side, I'll navigate to the next one. Again, I'll enter some sample data here. If I'm happy with my product description information, I can navigate to the material inputs. This is a bit different table format. Here, I can add data points from Add Resources at the top. This opens an overlay where on the left-hand side, you have different filters like your material types, countries, and so on. In this case, I'm going to use the search instead. I'm going to search for aluminum sheet. Hit enter. And here you can see all the results grouped in all or your favorite materials for quick access of those. The details of each data point are available from the scroll on the right-hand side, or alternatively, you can access this from the data card under the green question mark. In this case, I'm happy with the first result, so I'm going to select it from the checkbox and hit the Add Resources. You notice that the overlay stayed open, so I can navigate to a different section from the top select. Let's add some packaging material. Here in the packaging material, I'll search for some cardboard. All right. Here I have all my results. Not all the data is available for me, so I'll use the filter on the left-hand side to show only the data that's available. I'll select the first one. I'll hit Add Resources and close the overlay from the X at the corner. Here you can see that the data has been added in the background to the input form, so I can add the quantity or edit any other fields. I can click Save for instant save function, or if I want to see the results, I can press Calculate. This takes a couple of seconds, but then you will immediately see. Here we have results per each row. So that's much faster than it used to be before. Next, to showcase some more functionality, I'll navigate to manufacturing. Here I have some data points available. So I'm going to select them from the left-hand side, which will show the quick action buttons at the top. In this case, I'll choose to delete these data points as these are not the ones I want. This will ask me to confirm it, and once the data points are cleared, I can add new ones from Add Resources. In this case, I'll search for electricity, and if you note that even if I misspell it, it still does a pretty good job at finding the right materials for electricity in this case. I'll select the first one, close the overlay, and add it some quantity. All right, if I'm happy with this, I'm going to navigate to EPD generation to show you that now the images that you have selected for your EPD can now be previewed directly from the inputs. So this just makes it easy to confirm that these are the right ones. If I'm happy with all my inputs, I'm going to navigate to results. The system automatically detects if there has been any changes. So in this case, it saves the data, it recalculates the data, and once that process is done, then it will redirect us to the result page. Here we can see there's a few errors. I didn't fill in all the mandatory data, but in short, that's basically the new data input forms. It makes it much smoother, faster, and easier for you to use. So we hope that you can really scale the EPD generation with this new user interface. Let's jump now into EPD Quality Checker. Here we have a section in the result page. On the right side, you can quickly see any potential errors. Let's click on Open Details to see what these are about. Here you can see the EPD Quality Checker has two sections, Completeness and Plausibility Checker. Let's start with the Completeness Checker. Here, the first section checks your balance of energy and materials. Basically, this just checks if the inputs and outputs match, and any errors are indicated on the right. Next, the declared mass of your product is compared to the mass of all your inputs. In this case, as you can see, it's quite off, so I probably should check my data. And finally, it verifies that all your mandatory images have been uploaded. So in this case, I'm missing a product image. Next, let's move on to Plausibility Checker. Here you can see the comparison of your results to other EPDs in our database. The green bar represents the expected value, and the little red line indicates where you are. In this case, I'm completely off, so it's a good idea to check my inputs. In this view, you can also change the formatting from decimal to scientific, or you can group this view by impact category or by stage. What's important is that the EPD quality checker also runs automatically once you submit your EPD for verification. In this case, under more actions, if I press submit to EPD Hub, I get a pop-up indicating that there are some potential issues, which it's always a good idea to review them. That's EPD quality checker in short, and we hope that it will make your LCA modeling faster, more reliable, give you feedback early, and you'll get your EPDs verified quickly. Thanks.
Thank you, Johanna and Arturs. Now, imagine having tools that automate EPD updates across your entire portfolio. It could validate quality before publishing, track usage analytics, and deliver verified carbon data for even the most complex systems. Wouldn't that make staying ahead of CPR and CBAM just that much easier and valuable? Now, we'd love to give you the opportunity to connect with one of our sustainability experts for a discovery call to understand how these solutions can work for you and for your company. So you'll see a poll appear on your screen. Just click yes if you would like to be contacted by our team at Click LCA. So before we go further, please note that we are accepting questions for live questions and answer segment at the end of today's show. I see there's already a bunch of questions, so thank you. Keep it coming. So if you have any questions to our team, please drop them in the questions in the chat. I think someone needs to unmute themselves. Thank you. So we are excited to connect with you for the live Q&A soon. Now let's turn our focus to the construction sector and explore what compliance means for project teams today, as well as how Click LCA helps the industry to meet new regulatory and certification requirements efficiently and at scale. To guide us through this, I'm pleased to introduce to you Natalie, our LCA expert, who will outline how design and project teams can stay aligned with the energy performance of buildings directive, which is also called EPBD, and major certification systems such as LEED, BREEAM, and RICS. She'll be joined by Stephen from Product Marketing and Kostas, our Senior Product Manager, who will demonstrate the latest workflow that streamline LCA, compliance, and reporting for product delivery. So together they will show you how to make compliance faster, more reliable, and easier to scale across all the stages of design and construction. So over to you, Natalie.
Thank you, Joachim, for the introduction. I am Natalie, LCA and embodied carbon expert at Click LCA. Today I'm going to talk about EPBD and green building certifications such as LEED, BREEAM, and also RICS. Let's start with the Energy Performance of Buildings Directive, or EPBD, which is basically the EU's main policy for decarbonizing buildings today. The revised version came into force in May 2024, and every member state must transpose it into national law by May 2026. This revision is especially important because it's the first time the EU has made whole life carbon reporting mandatory and not just operational energy use. From 2028, this will apply to new buildings over 1,000 square meters and then from 2030 to all new buildings. Projects will need to calculate global warming potential across the full life cycle and disclose the results on the energy performance certificate of your buildings. While there are no EU-wide limits yet, each country will introduce its own thresholds, just meaning that carbon requirements will keep getting stricter over time. Let's see next how this policy direction is already being reflected in the latest updates of major international frameworks, for example, for LEED version 5, for BREEAM 7, and for RICS version 2. In LEED version 5, for example, LCA is now mandatory and tied to the project's decarbonization strategy. Projects can also earn a maximum of 7 points by reducing embodied carbon by 20 to 50%. In BREEAM version 7, LCAs are now required for projects targeting excellent or outstanding ratings. And these assessments need to be completed at concept, technical, and post-construction stages. And finally, RICS version 2, used currently mostly in the UK, provides a global methodology for assessing carbon in both buildings and also for infrastructure. It embeds biogenic carbon accounting, grid decarbonization scenarios, and benchmarking for better alignment with net zero goals. It also connects carbon data with cost planning through the ICMS3, allowing teams to weigh both environmental and also financial impacts together. You will see next how Click LCA can support you to easily comply with these new decarbonization requirements. So over to you, Stephen.
Thank you very much for that, Natalie. I'm Steven from Product Marketing. Today, I will take you through the latest additions to Click LCA. They're all designed to support you across the full project lifecycle, from compliance to portfolio level reporting. So I'm excited to show you how we are helping construction professionals stay ahead of the rapidly changing regulations. And no matter what certification or market you're working in, Click LCA has always provided the right compliance tools, and we will continue to update them to reflect the newest requirements. In this release, we are specifically adding RICS version 2 whole life carbon standard, but adapted specifically for infrastructure. We're adding LEED version 5 for North America and BREEAM version 7, which also includes the new UK residential 6.1 scheme. These additions ensure that you remain aligned with the ever-evolving global expectations without needing to chase updates or worry about missing anything. That means smoother submissions, fewer audit surprises, and full confidence that the data meets exactly what your certifiers expect. So in short, we help you deliver compliant results today while staying prepared for tomorrow's regulations so that your projects are future-proof and audit-ready by default. Low carbon decisions have the biggest impact at the earliest stage of a project, but traditionally, that's also when you have the least data. And to solve this, we have brought AI into early design to help you generate low carbon concepts instantly. Carbon Designer 3D combines AI with free drawing and generative design, and you can sketch a basic envelope, or you can set a few constraints, and the tool then automatically produces multiple design scenarios in seconds, including one already optimized for lower carbon. Instead of manually iterating the structure, the materials, and the quantities, AI evaluates it all for you, and it shows you the impact immediately. And this means that low carbon thinking becomes the default from day one, without adding extra workload or slowing down design. By putting intelligent suggestions in the hands of architects and engineers right at concept stage, we empower teams to make better decisions earlier, leading to lower carbon projects with less effort. So once you move into detailed design, accuracy and speed become critical. And to support this, we have enhanced our IFC viewer so that you can bring project models directly into Click LCA and work with them more intuitively. You can visually review the entire 3D model, zoom and filter on specific elements, and understand the structure before you're importing anything. From there, you can extract bills of materials instantly, removing the need for manual takeoffs. We've also improved the material mapping process with smarter fallback logic that automatically fills in gaps or mismatches during import. And this ensures that you can start with a cleaner, more reliable data right away, while dramatically reducing manual corrections. In the end, the result is faster, a more streamlined BIM to LCA workflow that saves you time, it improves accuracy, and it helps teams to move from design to assessment with minimal friction. So selecting materials is one of the most important drivers of carbon performance, but finding the right data sets used to mean that you had to do endless filtering, guessing different type of keywords, and comparing options manually. Now AI acts as your material expert. So with our new LCA data assistant, you can simply ask natural language queries like low carbon concrete for slabs or local timber options, and AI understands the context of your project. It instantly finds the most relevant data sets for you, and it ranks them based on carbon performance and availability so that the best choices rise to the top. You can also compare manufacturer EPDs with generic data side by side in one view, helping you understand trade-offs quickly. And this saves you time, improves your decision making, and ensures that you always select the lowest carbon option with confidence. So in short, AI removes the complexity of material selection, and it helps you make sustainable choices both faster and easier. So once the assessment is complete, AI becomes your intelligent validator. It ensures your results are realistic and credible. The new plausibility checker uses data from thousands of similar projects in our Carbon Heroes database to predict expected value ranges across different elements. It automatically flags outliers, highlights inconsistencies, and suggests where results may be unrealistic. It then assigns a clear plausibility grade, and it provides explanations so that you can understand exactly what needs attention. Managers can then review, approve, or request recalculations with full transparency and control. And this AI-driven validation dramatically reduces the risk of human error. It improves internal quality assurance, and also it increases the trust in your results when you're submitting to third parties. So by catching these kind of issues before they become problems, we help you deliver reports that are not just compliant, but also highly credible and defensible. So more and more teams need to look beyond single projects, and uh, they have to understand the performance at scale. And that is why we've introduced AEC Portfolio Analytics. So this is a new tool that consolidates all your LCA data into a single dashboard. So instead of jumping between individual assessments, you can now benchmark carbon, circularity, and material use across your entire portfolio. You can compare performance against internal targets or external data sets, spot trends, and identify where improvements are needed. This new platform also generates enterprise-ready outputs for ESG reporting, strategy development, and long-term planning. So what usually took many days to do the manual data collection and spreadsheet work is now automated and visual. So this transforms LCA from a project level task into a strategic capability, which enables data-driven decisions at the organizational level and helps you plan for a low carbon future across your whole portfolio. Environmental performance is critical, but stakeholders also want to understand the financial impact. So at One-Click LCA, we have always supported lifecycle costing, but in this release, we have completely overhauled the experience. The new lifecycle costing tool runs alongside your carbon assessment, and it uses localized cost databases, or you can use your own data. You can test assumptions like inflation, labor, and discount rates early on in the design stage instead of waiting until later. Most importantly, you can compare carbon and cost side by side to explore different design choices and see trade-offs clearly. This helps you justify decisions, align design teams and financial teams, and communicate value in a language that everybody understands. By integrating sustainability and cost into one workflow, we can make it easier to deliver solutions that are both low carbon and financially sound. And finally, we have made a wide range of usability improvements that make every workflow in One-Click LCA faster and easier. Calculations now run up to 10 times faster, so you can get results in seconds rather than minutes. Also, our filters have been redesigned to be more intuitive and context-aware, and they help you quickly find what you need without having to navigate those long lists. You can also search materials by location or popularity, and that makes it easier to find or choose the right data sets that are relevant and commonly used. These refinements may seem individually small, but together they have a major impact on the day-to-day productivity. So whether you're importing data, selecting materials, running calculations, or preparing reports, the overall experience in One-Click LCA is smoother and more efficient. So across compliance, early design, material selection, validation, portfolio strategy, and cost integration, One-Click LCA now supports your workflows end-to-end. And these new capabilities help you deliver robust results, demonstrate compliance, and drive strategic impact. Now over to my colleague Kostas for a live demonstration.
All right. Thank you very much, Steven. Hello, everyone. So I'm Kostas, and I'm leading the product management for our AEC solutions. So today I will be demoing some selected new features that can really speed up your LCA workflows. First, I will show you how you can easily and quickly generate alternative designs with Carbon Designer 3D using generative AI. For those of you who are not familiar with it, Carbon Designer is a tool that enables you to do LCAs and generate material quantities very easily in minutes. And this is, of course, extra important for and helpful for early design stages. And then I will also give you a sneak peek to a really interesting upcoming feature in Carbon Designer that enables you to draw freely the geometry of your building. And for this, I will have to use test environments, so you might see some things that are a bit different from your interface or will be different, and maybe one or two small quirks, but yeah. And then last, I will also show your new AI chat assistant that can help you with resource search. And yeah, enough with the talking, I can start with a demo now. All right, you can see my interface. So yeah, Carbon Designer can be accessed through the project page. You can use it on top of any different building LCA tool. Most tools have it, and then you can get started. Results will be customized accordingly based on the tool you selected. Then I will get started. I will create a new design. And yeah, let's name it Concept Design 1. And next, you can see I have to pick a region. There is a range of alternative regions that are available for you to pick from. They are customized to align better with local construction practices. So I will pick UK reference building, and yeah, I will continue to the next step. So in the next step, you have a few options, including how you wish to generate the geometry. So here you can see three main ways, like either you choose a ready shape or generate shapes with AI or free drawing that is coming. So now at this step, I will choose generate with AI. And now we'll scroll a bit, and you will see here the different inputs you need to make. So this is a range of constraints that will use generative AI, will help generative AI generate appropriate options for you. You can see first plot dimensions, then some constraints in relation to site coverage and dimensions to the limits between the building and the plot limits, and so on. I will edit a few of them, say 40, plot dimension 40 to 100, and I will increase site coverage to 90%. I will also adjust the maximum length facade to 40, let's say. And I will continue here to the next step. So now this will take up to a minute. In the background, AI is generating a range of designs, and automatically it calculates a first version of the carbon footprint. And here, the more flexibility you give to the AI, like the more variations it will create, and you have a bit more flexibility with how the different shapes look. Like if the constraints are too specific, you might get a bit more limited variation, more like box shapes or something like this. And once the designs are generated, there will be automatically a new version that will be low carbon projected. And now we are here. You can see I got 4 scenarios that vary with each other in some degree. I will pick the 4th one. I like it better. And I will continue, select. And now in the next step, this is almost the same as earlier. The difference is that here you have a bit different parameters. I will continue. And you can see here all the different material quantities are generated. These are building part quantities, to be more accurate. So you can see the building part quantities, play with a 3D model. As you can see, this is a bit simplified. You don't see every individual building element, but you see the overall shape. And I will continue next. But you can see the shape and the structure. By applying templates, you can further customize the setup and the different building parts, what type of constructions they include, how the walls will be, and so on. And here I got the results. I got all the material quantities automatically, as you can see. I get to see the carbon view and the impact breakdown in a few ways, building part or material. And if I scroll more, you can see here the different the individual building parts. And if you wish, you can go to more details, see different options there, and pick between the different options. Or if you want, you can continue and add more. I can also save this as a regular design and get more advanced results. I won't do it now. Continue. Now I will generate a building with free drawing. So let's say concept design 2. We'll select again the UK region and continue. So now I will select free drawing. I input in the beginning the floors, and then next I will move on. And so here I get to draw my building. I start, as you can see this in increments, like how the different quantities, like you can see the distance of my line, how many meters it corresponds to. As I draw, you can see there is different lines that help me draw parallel lines or intersect appropriately with others and snap to different points. Now that the footprint of the building is ready, I get a 3D model and I can start adjusting individual floors. So the first floor, the second floor, with a single click, you select one floor, double click now. You see the whole building is moving. And now I got my building and I will continue, and then everything is exactly the same. So as you can see now, I was able in few seconds, let's say, to draw my building and make it more, align it much better to my the actual design I have in mind, and get accurate geometry and carbon footprint for my shape. And this is it. I get here the conversion, I create more designs and keep comparing them with each other. And that's it with Carbon Designer. And next, I will show your new AI chat assistant very quickly. It is in the new data input interface, and then ladder resource, and then in search, you can see this option to ask the AI. Here, I will select, for example, ask it to show me typical steel reinforcement, let's say reinforcement in the UK. And this will take a few seconds and will return to me appropriate options, generic data, and average performing materials. And I can pick between them and add them. And like that's the feature. I can add a couple of resources to the query, and that's it. As a note, all these features I showed you are Power Pack features. So feel free to try them out and share your feedback. And thank you very much. That's it from me.
Wow, thank you so much, Kostas, for the live demo. That was incredible. I'm sure everyone out there is very excited about what they saw today. Thank you also, Stephen, for your overview. And we're about to get to the live question and answer segment of today's show. But before we do that, I would like to leave all of the AEC professionals out there with a quick question. So what if you had the tools that could generate low carbon options straight from your early sketches, that could validate compliance automatically and compare cost carbon trade-offs before you make final design decisions? So these are not future promises. These are tools that are available now. And these are tools that are here to help you deliver projects faster and with less risk. So if this resonates with you, I invite you to connect with a sustainability expert at Click LCA for a quick discovery call to learn how these tools can work for you and your organization today. So you'll see a poll that's popped up on your screen. Just click yes to the poll if you would like to connect with us further. And with that, I will turn things over to you, Joachim.
Thank you, Abigail, and thanks to the demonstrators and demonstration cost us really valuable. So we've covered a lot today, from regulations to the tools that will help you to stay compliant and competitive. Now it's your turn. I've seen there's a lot of questions already been sent in, so this is now a live Q&A, and our product experts are here to answer your questions directly. So please share your questions in the chat, and we will address them live.
Thank you for that. There's a flood of questions actually that's come in, and we've done our best to answer those in the chat that we're able to. Now we're going to take a couple of questions that our moderation team thinks could be of value for all of you out there. So the first question is from Mark, and Mark asks, will CPR, or construction product regulation, make it easier to reuse and repurpose building materials? So based on what I know of everyone there today, I think that Tuomas, you are best placed to answer this question. So Tuomas, over to you.
Yeah, thanks. I think that's a great question. So basically, sometimes it's a bit unclear, what different regulations and rules are intended to achieve, and what the connection and long-term impacts are. But in my view and in my perspective, yes, definitely. The revised construction product regulation supports circularity by improving the transparency on environmental data, such as carbon footprint and recyclability. And then also, of course, with building LCA and like bill of material information that we're gathering, the industry is basically creating a foundation for renovation and demolition planning, which will naturally accelerate by the PCR, and that hopefully will continue to develop in the future. I hope I answered the question in a way that you wanted, Mark.
Thank you. So the next question coming up is from Abiru, and Abiru asks, how do you collect the data for the emission factors for the machinery, vehicles, and for other categories? And based on what I know, I think Artur is your best place to answer this.
Yeah, sure. I think the short answer is that vehicle transportation and this kind of emission factors usually come from generic LCI databases. So databases like Eco and Vent. So usually customers don't have specific data, but in the case, if you do have a specific data available, you can use private data points for this purpose. So you upload your private data and then you can use it as the emissions data. Thanks.
Thank you. Next up, we have a question from Hannah, and Hannah asks, are you already working on fixes and updates required on the new Click LCA interface? Currently, one still has to switch between old and new in order to make changes, which often slows down the process. Artur, could you take that?
Sure. Yeah. in the background, that's the top priority that we're working on. So moving all our tools and all the functionality to the new user interface. So this is going to roll out over the next couple of months, and we hope that all functionality will soon be available in the new interface. So definitely top priority for us.
Great. The next question comes from Freddie. Freddie asks, how do you actually quantify emissions for use stage B and end-of-life stages C through D? Is there any specific consideration about the construction processes? Is that what CPR is intended for? Stephen, could you take this?
I assume, Freddie, here that you mean product LCA, because on building site there are different rules and processes for these. So the CPR does not define how you calculate these. So the CPR mandates that manufacturers provide verified data, so verified global warming potential data, for example. The standards, however, so the EN standard, EN 15804, ISO 21930 that cover EPDs, they decide how you calculate, for example, the B stages or the end of life stages, so C1 to C4. And then also specific PCR product category rules, they might actually decide how you decide on quantities and whatnot for different type of end of life processes for different products. So that was it.
Great, sounds good. Thank you. So the next question is from Dimitri. Thank you for your question. The question is, how is EPD generation calculation supposed to be verified by notified bodies afterward? Do you have a specific pipeline for it? And I think, Johanna, you're well placed to take this question.
Yes, sure. So once the EPD is created and you have your results, you can generate your EPD reports directly from the tool. And we have different reports to match the different program operators that you can want to publish with. And then the verification itself happens directly on the program operators platform. Yeah.
Thank you, Johanna. Next question. There's not a name attached to it, but how does the AI-based data recommendation service know which LCI data or EPDs are the most accurate or compliant to use? Maybe Johanna, you could take that as well.
Yeah, sure. So what the AI does is it looks at what you have already in your design. So the location, the initial inputs, and it compares those data with the thousands of designs we have in the platform, completely anonymized, of course, and compares the information to identify what are the most used data in them. And that way it can suggest very reliable options from it that most likely you're going to want to use. Yeah. So they are like localized using the same standards and the same initial data. So they are very relevant for you.
Great. I think the next question I will take is, will the faster BIM to LCA workflows support the tools we already use like Revit or IFC? And Kostas, I think this is a good question for you.
Hello, sure. Yeah, like I believe we referred to the new import that Stephen showed from IFC. This flow is already available in production. So if you use IFC Viewer, now you will go through this flow where you can see it next to you. You can see the 3D model next to you while you're doing the mapping of the different resources. We don't have something planned for the other solutions. In Revit, you can do it in the plugin. We're looking into it to enabling something similar in the future.
Great. Next question. If AI flags an outlier in my results, can I still override it or see how it was calculated for the expected range? And Kostas, this is for you as well.
Yeah, so for the building tools and the checker there, you can see the range that we estimate, and then you get a warning, and then you can easily adjust it and resave, and then your plausibility score will be recalculated. So if you feel that something is missed, you can adjust it manually, or if your project has a special requirement, you can adjust it.
This is a very interesting question, and Kostas, I think it's for you again. So with the EPBD, LEED v5, and BREEAM v7 requirements, how can One-Click LCA help me stay compliant without duplicating work?
Yeah, so currently in the user interface, as always, like there is in each of your project, you can add as many tools as you wish. So you can do in the same design, jump between the different tools and see the different result breakdown. Of course, if there is some small difference in the requirements, you might be able at the end to make a copy of your design and just make the adjustment in the alternative design. But in theory, you can do at once calculations. You input your data once and you can get at once all the results for all the different certifications, cost, circularity, and so on.
Great. I think that is actually all the time that we have for the live question and answer segment today. So thank you all for dropping all of your questions. And I hope our moderators were also able to answer some of those in the chat for you today. Obviously, if you have any further questions, you can always contact us at One-Click LCA. Just go to our website and reach out. Before we go, I would love to tell you a bit about our free online lifecycle assessment and EPD boot camps that will be held this November. So each boot camp is held Monday through Thursday, clocking in at about 2 hours each day for 8 hours of total training. The boot camps are interactive, they're practical, and they're designed to give you the skills that you need to meet regulations like we've talked about today, respond to client requirements, and also demonstrate your expertise through certification. So I will say that when we've talked to some of the largest enterprises across the world, they say that they give priority queue to applicants that have a One-Click LCA certification in their CV or LinkedIn. So this is a very valuable certification that you can use to demonstrate your abilities in the market. And if you have not already signed up, please do so today. Our moderators will drop a link in the chat for you so you can secure your spot. And I would also like to invite you to participate in research that we're currently conducting. So we want you to help us shape our research for the 2026 Carbon Experts Report. This is One-Click LCA's annual report, which helps thousands of manufacturers and AEC professionals stay up to date with industry trends and carbon benchmarks. And we invite you to take this research survey to tell us about where you see the market today, how you project it's going to evolve over time. And this will help us to create the research that we're going to deliver in 2026 that will influence industry standards, that will influence policymakers around the world, and that will help drive the solutions that One-Click LCA will deliver for you. So I'm very excited if you can participate in this research. And I will now turn things over to Joaquim, who's going to close out the show.
Yes, as a final note, we are always happy to hear from you. That's very important for us to hear from you directly from our customers. So search for One-Click LCA on LinkedIn and YouTube, where we regularly drop technical, regulatory, and educational materials to help you to succeed with your sustainability strategy and your day-to-day workflow. So if you would like to contact us, please visit www.oneclicklca.com. No matter the changing standards, certifications, or regulations, One-Click LCA is always here for you. So we are looking forward to continuing to connect with you in this community here. So I want to thank you all for joining us, for being very active and asking questions. And last but not least, see you next time. Thank you.